been a Raila supporter since I joined politics.
Yes.
I think the only other person I've supported other than Raila is Honorable Peter Kenneth, because of the starry ties we have with him, and because he's the one who introduced me to politics. Any other person other than Peter Kenneth, I've always been with Raila Odinga, even when nobody from my constituency or county could not even utter the name Raila Odinga. Because I believed in his ideals, philosophy, ideologies of changing this country. I believed in the ideals of the party. And I also believed that this country needs a paradigm shift in terms of the true tribal hegemony kind of leadership. Now, Raila represented that kind of change. In not any other time in history have I ever observed, witnessed, seen, and encountered such hatred and venom against Raila than now. I've never witnessed at a time when Kenyans can hate Baba so bitterly to a point that they don't even want him to win anything, including the chairman of, not even AU. They don't want even him to, even the chairman of Ketrolip. They'll not even want Raila to win that seat. That kind of hatred I've never witnessed. But I understand it's a hatred that is transferred from Ruto. It is a hatred that was championed towards Ruto. There is a time there was a lot of grandiose in the government. Bravado. People are just, buying watches, going outside with, chartered plane, private plane with taxpayers' money. And they're boasting around it. And the Kenyans were suffering. People are just introducing policies and they are passed in parliament, a parliament that was so much compromised that anything that a president wants can pass. So Kenyans felt that this is not the government we thought it's going to be. And they went on the streets in a very non-partisan, non-tribal, leaderless kind of movement that has never been witnessed in this country. Where even in Kericho, where the president comes from, there was maandamano. Even in Eldoret, it started actually in Eldoret, where the president comes from. You could see that this is a national-wide protest.
That gentleman is saying the truth, that Raila Amolo Odinga has never been hated in this country like he is now hated now. People hate Raila Amolo Odinga seriously. Why? Why is it that Raila Amolo Odinga now, people hate him? The people who have been taking him that as a savior of this country have turned all of a sudden to hate him seriously. If it is jumping ship, going to government, the government leaving his supporters, he has done it before. But he did not receive the hatred that he has received right now. Why is it so? Why is it so that Raila Amolo Odinga is now one of the people who receives a lot of hate than any other person? Actually, to some extent, I feel he has even surpassed. People are making joke of William Ruto, but hatred is going to Raila Amolo Odinga to an extent that you can't believe. That's going to form the basis of this analysis here today. But before I take you through, kindly, if this is the first time you're watching our videos, please make sure that you subscribe, like, and comment, because that is the best support you can always give this channel. Now, why do they hate him? First of all, let me give you this story here. Raila Amolo Odinga is the father of maandamano in the country. He introduced protests that Kenyans got used to as a solution to an oppressive leadership. So therefore, whenever there was something that wrong Kenyans didn't like, Raila called for demonstrations and protests, and Kenyans came out in large numbers to participate in these protests. Now, came 2024, where Raila Amolo Odinga was not in the protests, but the youths of this country decided to join and protest against oppressive leadership from William Ruto. The reason was that took people to the streets is simply Finance Bill 2024 that was going to add more taxes on Kenyans, while Kenyans were watching William Ruto's government, people looting right, left, and center. So therefore, when we went to the streets, we believed that Raila Amolo Odinga, who had taught us, was going to also not to side with government, but side with the people, because the people are the ones who have been supporting him also in his protest that he has been calling all along. So checking from what is happening critically, it is that the moment Raila Amolo Odinga decided to join William Ruto, Kenyans felt much more disappointed, especially the youths who participate in Raila Amolo Odinga's protest every time he calls for protests. Let me tell you this. In 2022, when he called for protests, there are three things that he was talking about: cost of living, corruption, and high education cost. And all these things were the same ones, in addition to others, that the youth of this country were calling for on June 2024. Raila Amolo Odinga, despite hearing this, he now felt like these reasons that these youths were calling for were useless, and that his own mind is what matters in this country. He went ahead to join William Ruto and left Kenyans alone. And despite joining Kenyans, William Ruto, until today there's nothing significant that has happened to Kenyans, especially when it comes to the issue to do with poor governance. We have not seen a change in the leadership. William Ruto ni yule, Rongo ni zile, promises the same thing, and also ignorance of the Kenyan voice. It's always the same thing. So therefore, he has not been able to change anything, and that makes Kenyans more hurt and see Raila Amolo Odinga as a traitor and selfish. Why am I saying selfish? Simply because when he had a chance to save Kenya, he considered his own interests, going to the AU seat and getting money from William Ruto, that is the billions of money to go and campaign, which he was granted and which is now using in the campaigns. Even if he fails, the money will still be pocketed, the remaining the change in yak. So therefore, you got what you wanted, but left Kenya to lack what they never had still. And that makes it difficult that Raila Amolo Odinga, the father, who people have been seeing as a father figure for us as a country, who has been fighting for the wrongdoings in this country, now turns against the people who have been supporting him and goes to the government, which is oppressing Kenyans. So therefore, it is very clear that that could be a major reason as to why Raila Amolo Odinga is hated. Another thing that Kenyans consider, actually one of the things also that make Raila Amolo Odinga to seem to be selfish and now promoting hatred on his side, it's simply because the bipartisan talks that he has been talking about. When we had demonstration, it came out with bipartisan talk, and they came up with a prolonged period of time. They are doing things slowly, having meetings right, left, and center, discussing things that are not making sense to Kenyans, IBC and that. They didn't even discuss the issue of cost of living that Kenyans were fighting for. And the result did not come out. Even the IBC that we wanted to constitute did not come out well. So as a result, you realize that Raila Amolo Odinga, after the protests, he came and started saying, now we are going to implement the bipartisan, the NADCO report, which came up from the bipartisan talks that were held. So therefore, Raila Amolo Odinga simply, at first, before Kenyans reacted, he felt like it's okay. Let's get rid of this bipartisan talk and let's leave it and let me get the support and go to the AU. But after Kenyans now have reacted, he felt like, no, let's pumbaza macho using what? The bipartisan talks. I mean, the NADCO report. So as we speak right now, despite having the NADCO report and Raila Amolo Odinga in government, there's high cost of living, corruption is going on, and then we're actually having the lifestyle of Kenyan politicians still going high. We're having politicians flying right, left, and center, and then no development that Kenyans are experiencing right on the ground, because Kenyans are asking, you collect more taxes, where are you taking the money? You collect more taxes, why are you not paying the doctors? You collect more taxes, why are you not paying the loans? You got more taxes, why are you borrowing? So these things are still happening despite having Kenyans Raila Amolo Odinga and many other people in government. So we feel like Raila Amolo Odinga has decided to betray his country, his people, for the sake of interest, self-interest. And that's what is promoting hatred more. Now, to make it matters worse, when Kenyans were fighting for Adani, Raila Amolo Odinga came and said, no, Adani is good. Kenyans did not receive it well. But Raila Amolo Odinga stuck to that point. Until recently, we had Adani being disqualified. And Raila Amolo Odinga has not come out to apologize to Kenyans. He needs to apologize to Kenyans for simply promoting Adani, which was a corrupt entity that was brought in Kenya to run our parastatals in one way or the other. Therefore, he needs to come out and say sorry to Kenyans for that. Another thing that we want to say that health, despite having all this expertise that William Ruto has brought from Rudium, still you're having health having an issue. When Kenyans gave Ruto a chance to revive himself by bringing competent Kenyans to come and run the health docket and others, he decided to bring a lady who was politically appointed, and as a result, we've not gotten leadership from her. Health is not doing well, and as we speak, as a country, we are complaining right, left, and center because we are not having services delivered in our hospitals. There are no drugs, and so many things are happening that are not auguring well with Kenyans. So therefore, it's clear that Raila Amolo Odinga is working the government, benefiting himself, but Kenyans who have been supporting him all along are still suffering. He's not talking of health right now. He's focused on AU. And the hatred he has experienced, it's above board. Because we've seen Kenyans going ahead to call the embassies to tell them we don't want Raila Amolo Odinga to be voted for the AU seat They have texted some presidents in the country, telling them in the continent, telling them not to vote for Raila Amolo Odinga. They have done so many things on social media, the campaigning and promoting the Egyptian, the Djibouti gentleman, Mohamud Yusuf, to win the AU seat. That means Kenyans are seriously agitated by Raila Amolo Odinga's actions as we speak. Therefore, it's clear from what that gentleman senator is saying, Raila Amolo Odinga is one of the most hated, from loving to being hate, from receiving love to receiving hatred. It has been a huge and short journey for Raila Amolo Odinga. I don't know what is your take as far as Raila Amolo Odinga is concerned, but let me see in the comment section why you feel strongly that Raila Amolo Odinga is receiving a lot of hate. Let us put it very clear that hate is there. He's receiving hate just like this senator is saying. And the fact remains is that Raila Amolo Odinga, to some extent, he deserves it. So let us just see on the comment section kindly why you think strongly Raila Amolo Odinga is receiving hate. My name is Abel Mukua. That's my video there and there. Please make sure that you subscribe, like and comment, because that is the best support you can always give this channel. See you next time for more videos.